You want me to put that on my Tudor?
This one's wife. I had a problem with table 12. More fallout from Bell End game, this time reported by Joshua Hay in news.com.au. William's true feelings for this one's wife revealed in new royal book. New royal book, Bell End game, has lifted the lid on the fraught relationship between Prince William and this one's wife. Prince William had a problem with opinionated this one's wife from the very start of her romance with Harry, claims a new royal book. Omid Scobie's controversial book Bell End Game was released this week, and numerous claims within its pages have already left royal followers shocked. According to Scobie, this one's wife's arrival into the family was a jolt to the system. Well, of course, she would want it to be portrayed that way as part of her grandiosity and deluded thinking, and immediately left William concerned that he, Harry, was moving too fast with someone who had lived a life so far removed from that of his brother. We all know that William was entirely correct. You ought to know by now that when a narcissist comes along, invariably they will move with undue haste for the purposes of bringing a person under control where they have been targeted to be the intimate partner primary source. In such circumstances, therefore, the narcissist needs to get that individual under control as quickly as they can in order to plug in and draw in that delicious, edifying fuel to access the character traits and residual benefits. Thus, this is where the love bombing comes from. Love bombing need not just be within an intimate situation. It can be seen amongst workers, amongst colleagues, amongst friends, where the narcissist gives you plenty of the good stuff, makes you believe that you've met someone wonderful, a friend for life, a soulmate, someone you want to spend lots of time with. Everything moves very quickly. You perhaps moving quickly together. Pregnancy can occur. Getting engaged and married can occur very quickly. There's a joining of finances. There's an early introduction to other family members. Perhaps if children already exist from a previous marriage or previous relationship, they are exposed to this person at an early juncture. All of this is as a consequence of the lack of boundary recognition and the necessity that the narcissist has to get that victim under control. And thus, William, as a normal, saw this. He didn't at the time realise that a narcissist had entered the royal family, but what he did see was that the speed at which the relationship was proceeding was too fast, that she had no understanding of what life in the royal family was like, and that Harry hadn't appreciated this with the possibility that it could lead to problems. Fully aware of Catherine's own difficulties in the early years of integrating into the royal family, William, being attuned to this, naturally wanted to point this out too. Harry, he did so, well-intentioned. What he also did was inadvertently pick up on the behaviours of a narcissist, but of course, by this stage it was already too late. The fact that William expressed such concern becomes interpreted by this one's wife that he's a troublemaker. She, of course, doesn't think that she's moving too quick. Why would she? She's in love, that she adores Harry, that she wants to be with him, and William is just envious that he's spoiling things, that he is creating unnecessary problems. Why do you have to be so cruel and unkind? Naturally, this one's wife would think that actually William wanted her instead of Kate. And naturally, this is complete nonsense. But in the deluded mind of this one's wife, as I've told you so many times, she believes that all men fancy her, and that would include William. Accordingly, the interpretation that her narcissism would give upon the fact that William had concerns about her behaviour would be that that was unfair, unnecessary, and in the circumstances, what would be happening would be that William wanted her himself, and he was reacting badly because he couldn't have her, and that he was envious of the fact that Harry had. Furthermore, Harry wouldn't listen. He thought he'd met someone really special, and it was all about him for a change, and of course his own emotional thinking would have surged. The article continues by explaining it seems that this one's wife had an uphill battle from the get-go with the family, but especially William, with Scobie claiming that Will believed that their different upbringings and nationalities made her an outsider. Well, they did. But what made her the problem wasn't her nationality. Her upbringing did in the sense that it forged a narcissist, but the major problem arose from her narcissism. The article continues by explaining their romance came at the expense of the family image, said Scobie. It was felt that Harry was rushing into something that had serious blowback potential. And of course it did. Because even if she were not a narcissist, the fact is that the cultural differences could be problematic and could lead to the relationship foundering. But it was worse than that. A narcissist was coming in. And that means it's only ever going to be problematic. Things then came to a head when Harry allegedly accused William of not making this one's wife feel welcome. Naturally, her narcissism will have identified William as a threat, and in order to assert control over him, she will have complained about William to Harry. I don't think your brother likes me. He's not making me feel welcome. Harry, of course, drunk and dizzy on the spicy poontang and believing that he's got somebody wonderful, wants to immediately do the right thing. Oh, that's not fair. I'll go and have a word with Wills and tell him that he's a terrible chap for not inviting you in and making you feel welcome. I'll have it out with him, but he'd better not break my necklace. Accordingly, Harry, well-intentioned, but subsumed within her manipulations and his own emotional thinking, forms the view that his brother is being unfair. This one's wife, of course, is told by her narcissism that William is being unfair by not making her feel welcome. And then this, of course, years later, is pumped out to Omid Scobie for him to place within his book as part of the smearing of William. Scobie said that leaks soon began to emerge from the palace that claimed William truly didn't like this one's wife, and that he had told aides and family members that he believed her to be too opinionated. Well, her being opinionated is part of her sense of entitlement and haughtiness, and he's not wrong. As a result of Harry siding with this one's wife, William shifted away from acting like a brother and became someone more focused on the crown. As Harry and this one's wife's romance became more intense, so did the rumours surrounding the brothers. Sadly, things between the pair have gone from bad to worse in the years since this one's wife first entered the inner circle. It's widely understood that William has no intention of speaking to his brother for the foreseeable future, which of course is an eminently sensible step, and bear in mind, why on earth would you now have anything to do with your poisonous sister-in-law and dim-witted brother after this publication? Already William, furious at the behaviour of the duo and implementing a no-contact regime in relation to her and by extension in relation to him, knew not to have anything to do with them. It didn't look like reconciliation was on the cards, but any prospect of that now occurring as a consequence of what they've said about him, and in particular in relation to the smearing that has once again been undertaken in relation to the Princess of Wales by suggesting that she is racist, not only means that William will want nothing at all to do with these individuals, that he will not want to speak to them, that he will not want to see them, but that he will, when power comes his way within the royal family, seek to extract some form of revenge upon them and punish them. Not because he is a narcissist, but because as a normal, with huge emotional empathy for his wife and for his father, that he'll want to defend them in light of the treacherous behaviour of the gruesome twosome from Monty Shitshow. Once again, this one's wife's narcissism has fucked up. It gains control in the moment through this book, but it results in a further collateral consequence of ensuring that any prospect of reconciliation between William and Harry has now just gone up in so much smoke. Naturally, this one's wife will claim that that's William's demeanour, that he's this power-hungry, crazed individual and not very pleasant, and therefore it's him that's been awkward and difficult. She is completely blinded to the fact that it is her poisonous behaviour that has caused this to happen. In the book, Scobie opened up about his own personal experience with William, describing how he'd noticed a huge shift in his demeanour over the years. William was always someone that brought kind of a ray of sunshine to royal engagements. He was happy. He was always willing to have a bit of banter with you. He was interested in the people around him. And the man I see before me today is, of course, taking the job more seriously. But there's a harder, almost more worn-down demeanour to William as well. Again, that's just more smearing. You only have to watch the footage of William as he interacts with people and read the reportage to show that he still enjoys the banter and discussion with people, and indeed, he and the Princess of Wales are in the ascendancy, which of course doesn't fit with the shite that's spouted by Scobie, and of course infuriates this one's wife all the more. I'm HG Tudor. Thank you for listening.